Yes. So now I will show you a bit about how to set up a new service in the NIRD Toolkit. Yeah, in the introduction, we went through some technical details on how things are working together in the backend. I think the main thing to remember is that the services in the NIRD Toolkit are started using containers. And that is that the running container is a bit different than a virtual machine. And I will show you a little bit, but it shouldn't make that much of a difference when you use the service. Okay, let's start trying to install a JupyterHub service. The JupyterHub service is nice if you want to, for instance, make a course and you want to invite people that don't have membership of your NIRD project. For instance, that's 2 reasons to choose the JupyterHub over the normal Jupyter service. In the Jupyter service, you get a Jupyter Lab only, and but it might be just as good if you are just working within the project. Yes, the JupyterHub has a bit more things you need to consider when you start installation. When you click on install, you will get to this page, and there are some things that should be required. I will now start service, and I will invite all of you to try to start a lab from this service as well, so that I would be the course. If we were using this for a course, I would be the lecturer, and you will be able to use the service. Let's call it like this. It will then get the URL based on this name, and what you call the project space. And the project space then has a short name, which will be displayed in the URL. So when you apply for a NIRD Toolkit, you will be asked to give this short name, which has to be unique to your project. As default, the only person who is authorized to access the service you create is yourself. And you can add as many groups as you like. Right now, you probably have the NIRD training as a group. So I will add this one. So anyone who is now in the NIRD training group can access this JupyterHub that I'm about to make. The JupyterHub then can select the main storage. Every NIRD project has at least one persistent volume, which then maps to the project area on NIRD. So this will map to the NS9997K project area. It's possible to get more fine-grained if you only want to add in one folder inside this project instead of the whole project. Then you will ask to create more of these storage links. This is a link, kind of. You call it persistent volume, but it will then link to the storage.
Can I ask you a question, Siri?
Yep.
If it has to be fine-grained and we need to have different folders, are we supposed to conduct the support first, and you make this fine-grained versions links there.
Yes. So
Okay.
this is one of the things you cannot create yourself. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. And so we start a hub, and every user will get one type of notebook, the same type. And then you can look at the list. When I said there was machine types, what I meant was then that there was different combinations of CPU and memory that was available here. So there are, for instance, and it should be within the quota, and the quota is on the side here. So we have put the quota of 50 CPUs and 100 gigabytes of memory for this course, and 1 GPU. Yeah, but I will just choose the smallest one to make this one. In addition, we have more configuration. All of the services has this extra configuration that you can check out if you want to. This one says it starts JupyterHub as the default. And this path shows where the user's home directory will be created inside the project. So this will be like then ns997k and then dash datapoten home, and every user will get the folder there. And if you would like to change this, it's possible, but it should be a folder that is already created. And if you decided that you wanted to have a service without storage on NIRD, that's also possible. And then this would be just a folder inside the container. And when the service stops, anything you put in would then be deleted. So if you forget to put the storage here, anything you do in the service is temporary. Okay, and then there is an image that is public, and if you go to JupyterHub and search for Sigma 2 eyes, you will find the images that we are working with. And the way these images are working, this is the name of the repository where we built it from. This is the day it was built. And this is the GitHub tag. If you want to go back in time and find out exactly what is in the service that you start. But it's probably not that relevant. And I can add an additional admin if there's more than one person who's going to add or orchestrate the users in the notebook. Okay, next one. We have this IP parallel. It's mainly useful if you have one GPU and more than one person wants to use the GPU. Then you can use IP parallel. I'm not going to enable it here. And then the main thing that often people want to use is this shared data. And I have a folder on the course project, which is called course demo. And this I want to share read-only with every user that creates a notebook from the hub. And now I've done all of the configurations needed, and I can start the hub. And I know there's a hand raised.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. First, when you have the storage, this will be in the root of the project folder.
Yes, that's the default. Yeah.
And the second question about the admin.
Yep.
That's admin for JupyterHub, not
Yes.
the app. So it cannot reconfigure or do anything apart from like kick users and like manage users of the hub.
Yeah, in that specific case, yes. So now I have started the service, but what you asked for was reconfigure things, right? So now I have this one. I'm me and running. And if I do me and all, I didn't have any stopped services, but then it would show more. So I know Danya, and Danya has put up a service, and I can manage her service. So I can delete it. If she has left the project, for instance, and there is still a service running that is belonging to her, I can delete it. Anyone who is in the group that is created in Feide can delete other people's applications. So this is one reason that when I was now making this course here, I authorized everyone in the course to be able to join. If I want to authorize an even bigger group, a group that's not supposed to be able to delete applications, for instance, like we talked about with students, I would create a second Feide group and authorize that group instead, which is a group that could be only students. And that group wouldn't be able to delete other people's application. Yes. Another question?
Yeah, who manages, how do you specify the Feide group for the project?
Yes. For the project.
Does it Sigma 2 does
yeah.
it?
Or it's NRIS in the end, because we are working with the Kubernetes. In Kubernetes, there is a concept called role-based access control, and we put in this Feide group as the role that can do these operations. So we only have one group that can do these kind of operations per project, and then the project leader decides who is a member of this group. And the group is set when the NIRD Toolkit project space is created. But if you need it to be changed, we can also do that.
Okay, so when I'm like applying for a CRAS service,
yes,
do I get an admin permissions in the Feide group for the whole project space, or
yes,
I don't, and I have to ask Sigma 2 every time?
you get admin access to the group because you create the group in Feide. If people are interested, I could show you how to create this group, because it's very important if you are the project leader and wants to apply. So I can do that.
Yeah, that would be great to know. See, just how we add you into the group.
Yeah. So there is a service from Feide called Insyn. I can change it. Yeah. Okay, I'm already in English. That's nice. There is a, yeah, maybe everyone wants to go there just to tag along. There is this thing called group affiliation. And to go there, I need to log in. And then there are many groups. Since I'm using the NIRD Toolkit a lot, I have a lot of groups, right? Most people may have 3 or 4. And there is, at the end, there is create a new one. So you create a new group. I might not do that right now, but you create a group here with the name that makes sense to you. And then you would get, let me see, Sigma 2 doesn't control this group at all. User who controls this group, but we authorize a specific group. And if you want to change that group, you need to ask us to do that again. Okay. Let's check out the JupyterHub. And then we get to a login page. And this is our authentication system, which works both against Feide and also the Metasetter accounts. And now it starts. So the JupyterHub was already started, but every time a user logs in here, you get a Jupyter Lab for that user. And since this could be anybody, it's not going to be my user here. Because that's why we have this kind of course, so that you don't have to invite them into the real NIRD project. Like you mentioned, the cross, which is course as a service. You can have a temporary project for a course, and the students doesn't need to be a member of the NIRD project in order to be be able to store their data on NIRD. So this is probably one of the reasons that some things are owned by a user, that it's difficult to delete. Yeah, so that's the UID of this user, and it has all my groups as well. So it would have the group, but it's not set that that's the default. That could be changed probably. Okay, let's stop this. And yeah, so now we have a Jupyter Lab. I have the shared folder I created. And this is the examples I'm going to use today. So if you want to use these, please copy them somewhere else. And these are my, these are my files. And yeah, since I've already done some preparation.
So Siri, can I ask you one question? That
Sure.
is not on NIRD project now?
Yeah, these are. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they are. Yes. Okay. Let's just run a very quick thing. We can have, for instance, some plotting. I picked these examples from the matplotlib documentation. They have a lot of documentations on how to make good notebooks. And you see here that this notebook is read-only. If I go back. Let's see, it's probably not going to work in this one. This way. Okay, yes. So this is the home of the student. And here I also have this one. I'll start it from here. Yeah, and it's okay. So you see that the animation works. Now I want to show you the hub control panel. And it's here. Here, this is where you control the users. I am the admin because I was the one who started the hub. There are now 3 people connected to my hub. I guess 2 of you are the course participants. And you have the link if you want to add, and then we can see maybe more people joining here. So if you go to this this link,
could you add it? Could you add it to the collaborative document? Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Let's put it. Should I put it at the top, maybe?
No, you can put it down. Okay, yeah, you can put it down. I will put it as a marker with the marker. So.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I'll just put it here at 16.
Yes.
Anyone can try it. And I can, as the admin, stop and start these. As the admin, I can access everyone's notebook, but I can also stop anyone's notebook. And the way we have set up this is that before you delete the hub, you should stop every service here. Otherwise, you can ask for help to stop it. But anyway, if you start it up again, and it will then reconnect to these ones because they don't stop automatically. When you delete the hub or when you stop the hub, they don't get stopped. So go into the admin panel and stop all of these. Is the right way. Oh, everyone is joining. Great. Yes.
There is one raised hand.
Yep.
Yeah, so I went into the project folder on NIRD, and I got into your home directory in the data portal.
Yeah.
And the files are owned by system core dump and don't have group permissions.
Yeah, that's true. So the group permissions we could probably change, and we should do that. The reason for the core dump user is that it's also the notebook user. So that's the reason that we do that is because not all the students would have their own user. But changing the group would be better. Yes. So we should look into that.
Okay, and the second question, in the admin panel, I can rename users. You can rename users, but I've tried that sometime before, and when they relog in, they get their Feide user again and not the renamed one.
Yeah. So we have done that to make, so again, it's probably, I guess you could pick a name instead, but we have done this because we don't know all the users. It's not, so if you start the Jupyter service instead, you would get your username on the system. But here, since we don't necessarily know all the users, that's why we pick an ID instead. So yeah, it's a long, it's a long name. That's true. Yep. Okay. So now, now we have this. I was maybe potentially going to show you how it looks as the user, and I have a separate browser for that. But you can also check that when you go back to your view of the Jupyter lab, and you are normal users, which means that if you go to the control panel, you would only see these two, not the admin. And I can then stop my server. And then this one is then stopped. This doesn't work because I stopped it. But if I again click on here, I will start it up again. So the students can stop their own service, and the admin can stop all the services. And it will remember what you did before you stopped it. Yes. Let's go back to the manage. So now I will just manage the JupyterHub from the NIRD Toolkit without stopping any of the user notebooks. These notebooks are all running, and I think you would still keep access to them even when I restart this service. So there is this modify button. So you have a running service, you can change some configuration. You can also stop it or delete it. We will go for reconfigure. I will change or add one more group. This NIRD Toolkit UIB group we use for testing. And that would just authorize more people. But one of the things that we have gotten some questions about is when people restart or reconfigure and they want to use another image and they restart, and then it doesn't seem to do anything. The reason that it doesn't seem to update this, for instance, you can change the software. That's the reason to change the image if you want to have some software specifically for you. And then I'm not going to do that now, but I'm just going to reconfigure. The reason for that is that the labs are still running. So if you do change the image and not just, for instance, the users or the, then you would need to go to the hub control panel and stop all these. And then when you start them again, when the user logs in again, they would get the new software. But right now it has the old configuration. So again, using the hub control panel is important in this setting to get updates as well as if you feel like, or you see that the quota is being used up, then it might be a JupyterHub. Let's go back to, oops, not the documentation. But yeah, you can get to right directly to the documentation from here. Now you see we are using a lot more of the resources than we were when we started.
So how is it, City, and this resources? We requested less resources, right? Or when you created the JupyterHub?
We have 1 CPU and 1 GB of memory per person.
Oh yeah, per person. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yes. Good. Next. How are we with time?
Have a break at 11, but
Okay.
There are some questions on the collaborative
Yeah,
document.
let's do the questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read it for you, or?
I guess we have one raised hand again. We can
Okay.
do that first.
Just a quick question. The requested resources also include pods like image puller and things like that. So when you apply for the resources, you need to consider that there will be some overhead.
There will be some overhead, yes. Yeah, that's true. So you should ask for a little bit more than what you need. So if you, for instance, know that you will need, like, let's say, one of these or two of these, you should ask for, here it's 16, maybe you ask for 20, just to have some kind of wiggle room. And yeah, so it's good to know, yes. But these helper pods, they are a bit small, but when there are some of them, then yeah, it adds up a little bit. Anything else in the document?
There are one spawn Feide. Can you check the servers that you have? You have the admin view, right? I cannot check it because the JupyterHub group.
Oh yeah.
Here. I saw that one has issues. The last one.
It's probably just stopped. Like if somebody decided to stop their service just to test it, I'm assuming. And if they want to start it again, yeah, now since I restarted the hub, I will get to log in again. That was the reconfigure part. So they can go to their home and start my server again. So I think that was on purpose. It's not somebody who's...
There was some question that, question 16, somebody has issues to start the server.
Okay, let's see. Question 16.
Yeah, it is working now, so.
Okay, good.
Then question 17, there are some options in the app configuration web page that are not changeable, like the timeout limit or spawn limit.
Okay, let's see. So the timeout is probably something that is mainly the startup time of the container, and it's probably shouldn't change too much. So I don't know if that's what you want to change. Yeah, this is basically how long it could wait before it says that, okay, the service didn't work.
Yeah, but if you have like a really big Docker image,
yeah,
this might not be enough.
Yeah, but we have caching, so it might be the first time it doesn't work, but the second time it should work.
But if it failed on the first try, it will not cache.
It will cache this image anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. So the second time, if you use the same image, it should go faster.
But there is another limit for the pod kill time. Like this timeout 3, like which is 1 hour. It's lower. Yeah, this one in the kill idle pods.
Oh, there we are. Okay. Yes. Server is inactive before it will be called. Yeah, but it will start up again as soon as you go to the JupyterHub. Is it a problem? Should we increase this one?
No, for example, I want to lower it.
To lower it, okay. We could probably make it so that you can change.
Because, for example, I don't know if users are actively using and I need to like quickly reconfigure, and I don't want to kill things because the time, they're called, like the autosave in the notebooks can be configured by them to be like too large in time intervals. So I want to kill it, for example, every half hour, and I cannot change that.
Okay, no, we could look into changing this. I didn't consider that that was something people wanted. It's more for us that we don't have idle things running around. Yep. No, we can make this configurable, probably. Yep. Anything else?
Yeah, the question 19. I assume this is something for NIRD Toolkit because you use Python to produce maps. But what about the memory intensive?
Yes. Oh. So we had this list of what we usually have as the sizes of these notebooks, and usually, okay, so there is some the biggest one. We could probably make a bigger one. This is the biggest one that doesn't have a GPU, and it's 80 gigabytes of memory. And there is also one that doesn't have as many CPUs. That's 64. These are usually the sizes that people request. And since these services are just up, at least if you could have your calculations so that they only use a 64 gigabyte memory at a time. And these services are just staying up when they are created, except these JupyterHub notebooks, of course. But if you choose a Jupyter service instead, you will have the memory for a long time, as long as you have the service up, instead of like a queuing system where you have to specify the end time. So that's also a difference. You get the service is dedicated to you as long as it's up. And that's also a reason that we would ask you to stop things that you don't use. But yeah, there is no time limit other than when we have like maintenance. And then during maintenance, we stop everything, of course. I don't know if that answered the question, but it could be like I showed in the slides, the total memory of the system is like 9,000 gigabytes. So it's not endless, right?
Running jobs, I'm not sure you can access data from compute nodes from the HPC, but you can access the data from the login nodes. Yeah. So you might need to transfer the data to your project area on this clusters and do this intensive calculation.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah.
Does this answer your question, or
is that all the questions?